Good morning, viewers. Hello and welcome to the Morning News Show, where we bring you the latest headlines and insightful stories to kickstart your day. I'm Kuhina Sharma and you are watching CNN News 18. First up, on top of this bulletin, we're tracking some breaking inputs on a big update in the Pannun murder plot. Now, this is a massive breaking that we're bringing to you from the ground, where Indian man has now been charged by the United States for the murder plot. Now, this comes after the Indian government clarified that the individual in question is no longer a government employee. Now, the federal prosecutors have charged a man they identified as an Indian intelligence officer with trying to orchestrate from abroad an assassination on US soil. These are the latest inputs that we are tracking from the ground, and what more we've been able to garner is that a part of an escalating response from the US and Canada to what those governments see as brazenly illegal conduct by a long-time partner. Now, an indictment unsealed in Manhattan on Thursday said that the man, Vikas Yadav, has directed the assassination plot from India that targeted a New York-based critic of the Indian government, a Sikh lawyer and a political activist who has urged the Punjab region of India to cede. Well, these are the latest inputs we are tracking from the ground, and for a better perspective on this, joining us on the broadcast is our colleague Akanksha Swaroop. A very good morning, Akanksha. What implications might this charge have for US-India relationships?
Of course, is going to be indeed very critical. We know that the United States is also headed into presidential election, and so much of it will be decided and rests upon who enters the White House, whether it's going to be Kamala Harris or Donald Trump, and that remains to be seen. But important, Kuhina, for our viewers to also understand what the charges say. They say that, and as alleged in the second superseding indictment, this is the second indictment, and the charges in fact go on to indicate that apart from the other public court documents, Yadav was working together with others, including Nikhil Gupta in India, and where he also directed a plot to assassinate on US soil an attorney and political activist, which of course is referring to that is Pannun. The victim, the US government has said, is a vocal critic of the Indian government and leads a US-based organization that in fact advocates for the secession of Punjab. But, the charges made it amply clear that the United States will not tolerate any harm being done to a citizen of the United States, which is what Pannun is. Now, the fact of the matter is that as far as Vikas Yadav is concerned, he's still at large. He's been also established as somebody who was working for Indian intelligence, and that he was a field officer, as he's described by the RAW, India's RAW. And we'll have to see how the Indian government actually takes this forward. I would also like to inform our viewers that on Thursday, in the media presser that was organized by the Ministry of External Affairs, the MEA has made amply clear that Vikas Yadav has nothing to do with the Indian government any longer, because he's no longer an officer with the Indian government. But the fact that the Indian government is cooperating in this entire investigation, that he is CC1 who was arrested, because remember, earlier during the year, we've seen the NSA have that Mr. Jake Sullivan and Ajit Doval held a meeting, and following that, the entire investigation was carried on. We are cooperating completely. There is an Indian committee which, as we speak, has traveled to Washington, D.C., and these charges now coming in from the Justice Department, which has announced the charges against this government employee Vikas Yadav in connection with the foil plot to assassinate Pannun, who is a U.S. citizen in New York City, have taken place. India is more than willing to cooperate and is also an example to Canada. So we'll have to see how the entire investigation ends now.
Right. Akanksha, this is a very significant development that we've been able to track, but this is coming ahead of the US elections. Now, how might the charges against the Indian intelligence officer impact the upcoming US elections and the candidates' foreign policies positions?
As far as foreign policy is concerned, we all know that Donald Trump has focused more when it comes to sanctioning of countries that are going ahead with deals with Russia, but perhaps more than that, there's focus on the trade deficit between India and the United States as far as Donald Trump is concerned. And we also have had more diplomatic leverage when it comes to Donald Trump, but with the Democrats so far, with the Biden administration, we've seen that as far as secession or separatism is concerned, there are time and again statements coming in from the Justice Department in the United States which are seen as an intervention as far as India's own internal affairs, whether on freedom of speech or whether press freedom or with regards to even Kashmir. But this, remember, is a major charge coming in because you have a former Indian government official who is charged with murder plot to murder a U.S. citizen. So U.S. is very much right now in a position to take this forward. We'll have to see how it's going to be a diplomatic tightrope walk for New Delhi. And as long as Washington and New Delhi try to pursue this via diplomatic channels, we do hope for a more cordial resolution.
Right, Akanksha. Thank you so much for bringing in all those details. Well,